How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Well, hello everyone. Happy New Year's Eve. We'd like to ask you to stand now for our opening song, Rise and Shine. And you've done this before, and you get to move around.
Rise and shine, it's a new day, a different path, a different way. Bring your dreams of work and play. Rise and shine, journey to your destiny through endless possibility. You cannot fail, your heart is free. Rise and shine, rise and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. Rise and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. Rise and shine, your inner light, illuminate your past so bright. The rainbow's end is in your sight. Rise and shine, rise and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way. Rise and and shine, it's a new day. Rise and shine, there's a new way.
Thank you all. Big hugs to you.
Thank you, Laura, Berryhill, and Anton Miserak. I'm so glad you all rose and are shining this morning. Good morning and happy New Year's Eve. Wow, we got a full house. I'm Kimberly Hawkins, Spiritual Director here. As always, it is my pleasure to be with you, my spiritual family. We are Center for Spiritual Living, Rogue Valley, in partnership with Unity of Medford. And we are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive spiritual community, spiritual family, really. We teach spiritual principles to transform personal lives and help make a world that works for everybody. If there's anyone here for the first time, we'd love you to just raise your hand so we can just give you a little love. We promise we won't follow you home. Anybody here for the first time? Welcome. Welcome. If you haven't already received a welcome packet, one of our ushers will make sure you get one. And welcome to everyone watching us online as well. So our cast of characters this morning include, I want to say Reverend because I think of you that way, Wendy Wellborn, one of our practitioners who will be doing the invocation and reading and helping me with the releasing ritual. Almost Reverend Laura Stewart did a beautiful world peace meditation this morning. She's holding high watch throughout the service, knowing the highest and best for everybody here. So that's pretty much it. I want to ask you, if you haven't already, to please put your cell phones on silent and preferably either off or in airplane mode so we don't interfere with our own sensitivities as well as our broadcast. And I'm going to turn it over to our musicians to prepare us for invocation and reading. As always, after this particular song, if you could hold your applause, we'll go right into that sacred time of prayer.
Invite us to close our eyes, yet open our hearts. As we breathe deeply into this community, this feeling and sensation of peace and harmony and love that we have for each other, knowing that God is present, infinitely present in and through and around us, holding us, carrying us, walking beside us. And as that energy of God fills us, it fills our greater community, spreading out in waves of bright light and love. And we know that this is the truth of every experience that we have. And we allow that to carry us forward. Blessing this service, the musicians, our audio-visual team, the Reverend, everyone participating, including each of you. Knowing that our youth community grows, they are blessed as well in all of their endeavors out in the world right now. We give great thanks for the presence of God in our lives, for the presence of each other as this community. We give great thanks for just knowing this teaching. And we release this into the world, and so it is. Good morning. We're going to start out today with a little irreverent reverend from Nadia Boltz-Weber. This is a blessing, a New Year's blessing for realists. As you enter this year, as you pack away the Christmas decorations and get out your stretchy pants, as you face the onslaught of false promises offered you through new disciplines and elimination diets, as you grasp for control of yourself and your life and this chaotic world, may you remember that there is no resolution that, if kept, will make you more worthy of love. This always gets me. Ooh, I can't even see for my tears. There is no resolution that, if kept, will make life less uncertain and allow you to control your aging parents or your teenage children or the way other people think. So this year, as every year, may you just skip the part where you resolve to be better, do better, and look better this time. Instead, may you give yourself the gift of really, really low expectations. Not out of resignation, but of generosity. May you expect so little of yourself that you can be super proud of the smallest accomplishments. May you expect so little of the people in your life that you actually notice and cherish every small, lovely thing about them. May you expect so little of the service industry that you notice more of what you do get and less of what you don't, and then just tip really well anyway. And may you expect to get so little out of 2024 that you can celebrate every single thing it offers you, however small. You deserve joy and not disappointment. And may you remember that you are infinitely worthy of love. And so it is.
We're going to do a chant from Tibet. It's part of a sadhana to remake the world as a three-dimensional mandala of universal compassion. So you're welcome to chant with us. This is a chant to Tara, who's seen as that bodhisattva, that seed and presence of universal compassion that lives within us and in all sentient creatures. So this is a chant to awaken that compassion in ourselves so that compassion becomes a more natural first response. The words to the chant are Om Tare Tare, Tut Tare, Tu Re Soha. You're welcome to chant with us. Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so. 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 Om tare tare, tu tare tu re so.
How lovely. Thank you. Feels not quite right to clap after that, doesn't it? Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, wow. So I don't know about you, but I kind of feel an excitement this day, New Year's Eve. You know, I'm tired. I just got back from Arizona visiting my 5- and 7-year-old grandchildren, and both kids finally, my son and daughter-in-law live on the East Coast. My daughter and son-in-law live on the East Coast in Connecticut. My son and daughter-in-law in Phoenix, Arizona. Everybody was together for the first time in probably 3 years because of COVID. And what I realized was, as you have probably heard in the past, there's a reason why we have young children when we're young. I adore these girls. If you checked out my Facebook page, you can see them, but oh boy, what energy. So I'm tired, and I think probably a lot of us are tired, you know, the end of the holiday season, and the nights are long, and we get to cocoon, but there's something exciting about this day, looking toward new beginnings. You know, January is named after the god, the Roman god Janus, who is the god of doorways, transitions, new beginnings, endings. and has two faces, one looking back to the past and one looking to the future. And I don't know about you, but that's part of my practice at year's end and going into the new year, reviewing what's been occurring in our lives in 2023 and then looking ahead to 2024. I actually usually take out my cell phone calendar. I did this yesterday and look through it and just remind myself of what happened. I mean, a lot of what's in there is mundane appointments, but then there are things like, I don't know, meetings that remind me of connection with somebody I dearly love, or community events that were satisfying, or trips I took. And it's just a chance to review, remember, and be grateful for what's gone before this day. It's also a chance to look at some of our challenges. We all have them. And to notice how we got through them, or maybe we're still in the midst of them, and how we are supported. Perhaps we already know what lessons we've learned from the challenges, perhaps not. You know, sometimes we're in the midst of it. But really the first step, I think, in preparing for walking through that gateway to the new year is about releasing what we don't want to take with us as we make that transition. What is it we want to leave behind, we want to jettison, and that's what this morning is all about. We're going to be doing a little ritual of release. I loved Nadia Bolz-Weber, Reverend Nadia Bolz-Weber. She's awesome. I love the reading Wendy chose. And I'm reminded, too, that I don't think resolutions, there's nothing wrong with making a New Year's resolution, but they don't really work, you know. A month or so in, you know. And so I don't like to do something black and white. What I do like to do is choose a theme for the year, and I review that at the end of the year. My theme for this past year was to be joyously in the flow. And you know it's powerful when we set an intention like that. And notice that wasn't lose 10 pounds or exercise more or whatever, none of that. Joyously in the flow, and I really, looking back on 2023, felt like I was a lot of the time, both personally and in our community, joyously in the flow of joining unity and Center for Spiritual Living coming together and flowing as one community now. So it's a theme, or sometimes I choose just a word, like a God quality. One year I know it was trust. I wanted to trust more. But again, before we get to the intentions, and by the way, I want to release anybody who thinks you got to have your New Year's intention done tonight. You don't. You can take all of January if you want. You know, why not? To really reflect, and I usually get my intention when I meditate. It usually just comes to me that way. You know, asking Spirit, what is it I want to experience this year? What is it I want to focus on most for this coming year? You know, it's a time of year when a lot of different cultures have different traditions. I have shared with you before that one New Year's Eve I was in Italy, in Rome, with my sister, visiting some friends I was studying that year in France. And in Italy, the tradition is to throw over the balcony or out the upstairs window anything you don't want anymore, whether it's a toaster or a refrigerator. So I was warned by my friend's family that lived in Rome at the time to be very careful walking down the street. And I learned just yesterday that in Denmark, a tradition that maybe is dying out a bit because a lot of people now live in apartments or condos, but the tradition is to save up plates, like porcelain or china plates during the year that you don't use anymore. Maybe they're chipped or whatever. And on New Year's Eve, you throw them against the door of your neighbors and friends and smash them. And it's kind of like if you wake up New Year's Day morning and there's a lot of china shards on your front step, it's good luck because it means a lot of people were thinking of you and caring about you. So don't be surprised if some of you find china on your front door next year. And I understand, and Rev Steph can correct me if I'm wrong, that this idea of tossing things out apparently is also done in Johannesburg. Do you know about that? Yeah, she's lived in South Africa, so yeah. Anyway, here we are in good old Medford. I don't think we're doing any of that stuff. But you know, I think we all know in our teachings, in Unity and in Science of Mind, we know that the most powerful transformation we can make is in our consciousness. So it's not necessarily things, although it's always good to get rid of things and pass them along we're not using. It's thoughts, it's beliefs, it's habits, it's what's in our consciousness that needs to be shifted. I love Paul's recommendation to the Romans in his letter, Romans 12, and you probably are familiar with this scripture verse, simply, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This, we believe, in science of mind and new thought principles and unity is a very powerful, powerful practice. So today and this coming month, I believe, is a chance to reset, renew our minds, make new intentions, and change our focus wherever necessary. Letting go of what no longer serves us. Now, this could be a lot of things. It could be a relationship that is maybe, I always say, a toxic relationship. We need to set boundaries and release it with love, right? Maybe it's a failed project or a failed business. Maybe it's a bad habit that we'd like to release and explore why we're in maybe an addictive kind of relationship with whatever practice we have. Maybe it's forgiveness of ourselves, like Nadia was talking about, this idea of being, our meditation too, being compassionate, first of all toward ourselves and second of all toward others. So forgiveness practices are wonderful things to do this time of year, letting go of resentment, letting go of anger. Because when we hold on to that toxic stuff, we stop the flow. We stop the flow of good into our lives. When we can release what no longer serves us, we make room for what does. We make room to be uplifted and connected to spirit within, to ourselves, our higher selves, and to each other. I heard an example when I was away this past week. A dear friend of mine, an old dear friend of mine, and I'll use they so to keep anonymity a little more, but this person never went to college, is one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. They have started writing short stories, and we're in a writers group where you submitted some of your writing and everybody in the group gave you feedback. And they told me that they were really reluctant to submit the writing for fear of, being criticized. But finally, toward the end of this class, however many weeks it was, they submitted one of their stories. And the teacher raved. The teacher said to them, "My gosh, you're a fabulous writer." But of course, you know that, right? And they didn't. They didn't. And my heart aches, and I just hope that one of the reasons we're in spiritual community, is to see the truth about each other when we don't know. The truth is, whether or not this person ever went to college, they are gifted and brilliant and have so much to offer. So my hope, of course, for them, for this year would be to release that belief. And we all carry around some form of that. I'm not good enough, something's wrong with me, right? I've never met somebody that didn't carry around some form of that. So let's jettison that as we go into the new year. A lot of times we do a burning bowl as the releasing ritual. How many of you were at the Scottish Rite Center when we did a burning bowl that sent a fireball up to the ceiling? A few of you. Something happened with the flash paper and a bunch of, as we came up and there was a candle in there, and as the flash paper accumulated, it wasn't catching fire, and all of a sudden it did. I wish I had a video, but we didn't. We weren't broadcasting right up to the ceiling. So I kind of have a reluctance to do burning bowl unless we can be outside. So we are doing dissolving paper, which we have done in the past. I had ordered the dissolving paper before I left for Arizona, and it was supposed to arrive by December 19th, and I checked on it a couple days ago before I left Arizona, and it hadn't arrived. So I tried to order more, and it wasn't going to arrive on time. So I kind of panicked. I went looking, and I actually found there aren't magic stores anymore. You used to be able to go buy flash, there just aren't. So I found labels that were big, like 24 inches by 13 inches, dissolving labels. I don't know why you'd ever want a dissolving label. I don't know, but I bought 2 of them. They weren't cheap. And so what you have in your hands, that little piece of paper that I cut up for you, is a dissolving label. When you write on it what you're going to release, you're going to write it on the white side, And don't do that yet. We're going to do a meditation. And then when you come up, we're going to put it in the water. And what's going to happen is the white side of the label is going to dissolve. I tried this. I know it works. So your writing will disappear. And what is going to be left is the label part, which is shiny. And at first I thought, oh boy, how am I going to explain this? But you know what? Symbolically, it's beautiful. Do any of you remember having a magic slate when you were growing up? Where you'd write on the slate and you'd lift the flimsy stuff and the writing would disappear? And you had a chance to rewrite whatever you wanted to do? Well, that's kind of the symbolism here, because as you put your piece of paper in the water, what you want to release written on there will disappear, and what will be left at the bottom of the bowls are a clean slate for each and every one of us here. And we will pray over that clean slate. Sound pretty good? I twisted that or whatever, framed that pretty well, I thought. Author and pastor Jason Sorosky said, "There's nothing magical about the flip of the calendar page, but it represents a clean break, a new hope, and a blank canvas." So in just a moment, I'm going to lead you through a meditation. And have your paper ready with your pen. You might want to come out periodically and jot down something on your paper. And you won't want to write a book there because it's a small piece of paper. Just write a word or a phrase that'll help you remember what it is you're releasing. I wanted to start with a scripture quote here. It's from Psalms 51:10. And the psalmist says, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." So in this meditation, my intention is for us to create a clean heart and renew our spirit. So let's take a moment to get comfortable in your seat. Let's take a couple deep collective breaths together, slow and deep. You might even want to sigh as you release. Deep breath in. Maybe a very slow release. And a couple more. Breathing deeply in, and as you release, making the out breath twice as long as the in breath. This resets our nervous system and helps us go into the parasympathetic, relaxed state, rest, digestion, insight. Closing eyes gently if you haven't already. Notice as we breathe, if we breathed in and didn't breathe out, we'd be in a pickle, wouldn't we? So what we're about to do is to focus on what it is we need to release. We know that when we come together with intention, the wisdom of the Christ within, the Christ consciousness of oneness within each of us to create a clean heart and renew us in spirit, that guidance is available to each and every one of us. Breathing in, breathing out. This is not a mental gymnastics exercise. We are simply each going to ask our higher wisdom self, that Christ within, that divine guide that always stands ready to guide when we get quiet enough to listen. So we get still and we ask, what is it that I am called to release as I enter into this brand new year? Infinite, loving presence in whom we live and move and have our being. We focus now on this present moment, this gift that is this present moment. We open ourselves to the light of the Christ within, understanding as we reflect inward, easily knowing the feelings, opinions, and actions that call for our attention and that are ready to be released from our consciousness. We know that the presence of the divine is with us always. So continuing now to keep your eyes closed in this open-hearted, safe space. Allow yourself now to be made aware of the old thoughts and attitudes that you no longer need or desire, that no longer serve you. Perhaps it's lack or limitation of any kind, illness or unforgiveness, harmful habits, limiting beliefs about yourself or others. Simply get still, ask, and allow what you need to release to be revealed to you. As you have a thought, you might reach for that paper, jot down a word or two, and then go back into your meditative state. Asking what you'd like to be free from in this new year. Just allow each thought to come to your conscious awareness easily, not trying to force them or make them up. Just let them come. After you write a thought down, close your eyes again, releasing and letting go of these parts of the past that no longer serve you. And we'll simply allow the bells to play now as we move through this process until you feel as though all of the thoughts, old patterns, anything unlike love have been written down to release into the dissolving bowl. Take a couple more minutes in the silence. And if nothing comes, no fear, you can do this process at home for the rest of the month. So I invite you now, if you haven't already, to take that white side of your paper, jot down anything you want to release as we close out 2023. When you finish, you can just sit with your eyes closed, bask and breathing in the newness of you in this present moment, while we allow others to complete their writing. For those watching online, I encourage you to take a piece of paper, write what you're releasing and wad it up, and while you won't have a dissolving bowl, you can always light it on fire outside, carefully, in a protected bowl. So taking just another couple minutes to complete the writing. As you hold your paper, I invite you to recognize that by writing on it, you have already placed the problem away from you. And that intention is set in motion, a response from the God within and the God without. Let's just take a collective couple deep breaths again. Beginning to bring our awareness back into this sanctuary, gently, perhaps opening eyes to a very soft focus at first. And I'm reminding you all that whether or not you have a long list, a short list, or no list yet, this is not something you need to do with your brain. That spirit within you knows exactly what it is you need to release. And the longer you spend in stillness listening, that will be revealed to you. I want to share with you something I posted in the wee hours of the morning and got a response back from one of our congregants. You know who you are. I was reading the last Course in Miracles lesson, number 365. There's an epilogue, and it says this: "You do not walk alone. God's angels hover near and all about you. His love surrounds you, and of this be sure, that I will never leave you comfortless." The I in this case being Jesus, or however you want to conceptualize that God within. So, I'm going to invite you forward. Wendy and I will be standing on either side. You don't need to peel anything with your paper. You can come up and prayerfully drop your paper into the dissolving bowl. We'll stir it. And I invite all of us to maintain a silent, prayerful presence here. Let's just, as each person comes up, know in support in prayer that their intention is answered. It's an answered prayer. All right? So let's start with the front rows. You can come up to either bowl and drop in your releasing. Hey, night owl. And invite Wendy to examine. My papers are all clean slates. How about yours? All right, I'm going to stir for a few more minutes. So I want to say a prayer because what I'm seeing now in these bowls is a blank sheet of paper for everyone here who put their releasing statements in this water. A blank slate, a new beginning. We get to write what goes on that slate this year. So I know that these prayers, because they are prayers, are supported by that presence, that power that lives within each of us, that surrounds each of us. We never, ever walk alone. We are so guided, so blessed, so supplied, so loved, beyond anything we can imagine with our human brains. So what I know for these prayers, and they are prayers, is that as we sit and be guided about what it is we want to experience and do and be this coming year, Spirit moves in and responds, sometimes in ways that we're not expecting. Prayers are always answered, not necessarily in the way or the timing that we pronounce would be good, but it's always for our highest and best. So knowing for each one here, each one listening online, each one across the planet who is releasing what no longer serves, blessing what has gone before in gratitude, and intending something new for this new year, in the mind of the divine, it is done already done in God's mind. So in gratitude for all of this, in gratitude for the cloudy water representing what's been released, going into the sewer. Does that belong in a prayer? I know you'll forgive me. I am so grateful to be here with you all, to experience this magical time of year. I'm so grateful to be in a community that supports all of your intentions, all of your releasing, all of your highest and best good. I love you, I bless you, And we say together, and so it is. Amen.
It's good God gets to hold all of this grossness.
God can do it.
Well, in that spirit, we would like to invite you to participate in this next song. It is one you know. Sing it out, and we're going to have you clap at one point. So, there was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient, and I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Woohoo!
Thank you, Laura and Anton and everybody. All right, all right, all right. So, time now for our tithes and offerings. And I hope I don't forget to say this every week. Thank you all so very much for your continued support of this community, both online and here. We are among the minority, I would say, almost right now, of churches that are making it. And it's because you care, you come, you support one another, and we support the church financially as well. So thank you. If you give online, I know you're not going to put anything in the basket, but feel free to bless it as it goes by. And if you wouldn't mind saying this affirmation as we place our gift or simply our hands over our heart, repeat after me if you would. Graciously I give.
Graciously I give.
From a place of love.
From a place of love.
Knowing that as I give.
Knowing that as I give.
So do I richly receive.
So do I richly receive.
So it is.
In the spirit of remembering old friends.
Aw.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and old lang syne? For old lang syne, my Joe, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup of kindness yet for old lang syne. We twine about the braes and put the goings fine, and we've wandered many a weary fit sin auld lang syne.
syne, my Joe, for all lang syne. We'll tak a cup of kindness yet, for all lang syne.
For all
Lang syne, my Joe, for all lang syne. We'll tak a cup of kindness yet, for all lang syne.
Thank you. I was thinking about that song this morning. I must have been picking up on your vibe. We do have a few announcements now that the new year is starting. Oh boy, there's a lot going on here. First of all, the Unity Prayer and Reading Group and Tai Chi happen every Tuesday, 10:30 and 11:30 respectively. Women's Drumming Circle happens here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And there are new classes starting. So, this is a great way to jumpstart your new year. How many have taken classes in here? I mean, it's pretty powerful stuff. And I learn, I know Rev Stephanie does, as we facilitate. It's so incredible to watch people blossom and grow and support one another. And we all sink more deeply into these teachings and our faith. It's incredible. I love it. While I'm on the subject, I'm gonna divert. This is a rabbit moment. I want to thank both Laura Stewart and Rev Stephanie for handling beautifully our Christmas Eve service, and Will Richardson for his reading together with Laura of Santa's God. It was so precious. Thank you very much. Yeah. And it is online on our Facebook page and on YouTube if you missed it. So here's the deal with the new classes. I will be teaching a 6-week foundations class. Corey is going crazy back there. It is going to be held on Mondays, starting the 8th, which is a week from tomorrow, from 3 to 5:30 here at the center. This is the place to start, or if you haven't taken foundations for years, we know we're in a different place in consciousness every time we do take it. So it's a wonderful way to re-enter the teachings and renew them and embody them in a deeper way. Rev Stephanie will be teaching a 6 weeks visioning class, and this is the process where we get quiet and still and listen and download, or sometimes I like to call it upload, messages from the divine, because if the divine is within us, not just up there in the sky somewhere, it's really an upload, right, as well as a download. She will be teaching that class on Wednesday evenings from 5:30 to 8, starting on the 10th of January. Now, here's the catch. Both classes offer an early bird discount, but that discount is good through the end of today. So if you're interested, please sign up in the social hall. You can go online and make a deposit of $45 or more to hold your early bird tuition. You can pay in installments if you need to. After January 1st, the tuition will be $165 for both classes. Right now it's $145, which includes a $45 registration fee that we send to home office, because these are accredited classes. And for those of you who may at some point want to do practitioner training, advanced consciousness studies, there are 6 required courses. But whether or not you want to do that, it's a great time, it's a great deepening, and it's a great way to get to know other people in the community. So see Rev Stefan or me if you have any questions about that. So I think that's it. Sign up for our weekly e-newsletter if you haven't already. There's a sign-up sheet in there. It comes out every Wednesday. There is a prayer box in the back of the sanctuary and one in the Bosworth Hall for Unity. Please submit your prayers. We love to pray and know the highest and best for you and your loved ones. We invite you to stay for soup and coffee. Thank you, Michael Sunday and Greg and all the kitchen elves who help us with that. And I am going to invite our practitioners and ministers in the room to come forward. They are available after service. You can grab one of them and either sit here or go into the office. If you have something heavy on your heart, they would be more than glad to pray with you. We call it a 5-minute miracle, to know the highest and best truth for you. And let's see, before we do our closing song, I would like to offer this. This came from Nancy Clay's Facebook page. She reposted it, and I just loved it. It's from British author Neil Gaiman. May your coming year be filled with magic and dreams and good madness. I hope you read some fine books and kiss someone who thinks you're wonderful. And don't forget to make some art, write or draw or build or sing or live as only you can. And I hope somewhere in the next year, you surprise yourself. Take it away.
Please stand for our closing song, which is Stand.
Okay.
For years I would talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. Then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking I could change my life. That's how I could change the world. So let there be peace.
I am a stand for peace.
Let there be love.
I am a stand for love.
Let there be joy.
I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
Let there be peace.
I am a stand for peace.
Let there be love.
I am a stand for love.
Let there be joy.
I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
Let there be peace.
I am a stand for peace.
Let there be love.
I am a stand for love.
Let there be joy.
I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
Let there be peace.
I am a stand for peace.
Let there be love.
I am a stand for love.
Let there be joy.
I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now.
We are
Making a new world now.
Yes,
We are making a new world.
world now. Happy 2024.